When the seagulls follow the trawl, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you.
Nobody cares, mate.
Nobody cares, mate. Nobody fucking cares, mate, honestly.
And the guy's talking absolute nonsense. I've never heard so much rubbish in my life.
Normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
I'm telling you, don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Yes! I don't know what happened and it froze at my end, so apologies if you've just been looking at my daft coot and smile. Welcome to the breakfast bar, 8:39, just getting a wee bit later. The brunch bar, I think someone was saying in the comments. Marky, I think it was. Might be more accurate. I mean, the brunch bar for next season. David Logue joins us. Yes, mate, but look at the big surprise at the bottom. On camera from his new gaff. I've not been on with Regan in ages. Regan, how's you, young man?
I'm doing well, thank you for having me on, guys. It's good to be able to show people my face this time. I'm in my brand new place, so things are looking good, Russell. Things are looking good.
Things are looking good, mate. From the new gaff, back on camera, brand new headset, looking as handsome as ever. Good to have you on, young man. David, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm doing good. Old headset, old place, but we're all ready to go. Regan, you're looking classy, man. I've been on the show with you a few times now on the Sunday Blether, so it's good to see your face this time. How you doing, man? You good?
I doing well, mate. Doing well.
Good, man. Good.
Well, we have got people coming in from Sydney. You know, Big Molon Labe. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, mate. And we've got Alex Forsyth on his cold freezing job in Edinburgh. So it's just a total mix of people that are on the bus this breakfast bar morning. We are going to be talking, obviously, we'll look ahead, really, to league matters, which I think is a wee bit of a Brucey bonus sandwich in the cup games, and I think is a good thing for us as well. Keeps the focus on that league without, it just seeming, not part of the focus because it's 2 cup games in a row. I'm quite liking the fact there's a league game sandwiched in between. We'll be doing a wee PMP later as well. Got to get that in. Obviously, we're going to talk about Ange Postecoglou's ever confusing press conferences, because yesterday was absolutely no exception to the rule and leaves all of us kind of chasing our tail as to what the fuck is going on. A little transparency, please. We'll be talking about the 2 potential appearances from our Japanese signings, Iwata and Kobayashi. We've not seen them yet. I want to know people's thoughts on whether they think they'll get some game time. I'd be quite excited to see either or both. At some point before that, we'll do all that good stuff. So remember, if you've not subscribed, there's 3,270 odd who have subscribed now. Do hit the subscribe button. It's completely free and it means you don't miss any bus journeys. If you want to share it, brilliant. If you want to become, what's the other ones? A Boycie Bus member, brilliant. That's entirely up to you. Loads of you have, and we really appreciate that. And of course, if you want to hit the like button now, that'd be brilliant because that gets us all the traction whilst we're live on YouTube. So do it. Hit the like button. Right, Regan Stevenson. Where are we with these transfers? Did you hear anything that Ange was saying yesterday? He was telling us that as far as things stand, there'll be no one in, no one out. I'm more confused than ever, Regan.
Yeah, I mean, they said on Saturday to Premier Sports that Celtic were going to bring at least one player in, so I'm a little bit confused why he's all of a sudden we went to no players coming in. It sounds a bit like Peter Liver's back, but he actually is. So I don't actually know what's happening. I think the Giakouamkis stuff's a little bit surprising as well because, as we know, Russell, Sky Sports said that Celtic accepted a bid, and then Ange said no bid, nobody's been in touch, nothing's happening, and it's like, what is going on? What is happening?
This is the thing. Yesterday at the press conference, I think there's two sides. I'm a wee bit torn on it, David, right? Because I like the fact Ange doesn't want to give anything to the press, and he's like, nah, I'm just not playing ball with you. You've wrote. He probably looks at it and goes, you've had too many stabs in the dark for me now just to start giving you like all the goss. The other side of me then goes, though, he's got a wee bit of a duty of care to be making sure the fans are kept in the loop slightly because, and there's reasons for this. This isn't because, you know, we deserve it and we need to know everything. But in the modern era, stories can be nipped in the bud pretty quickly, or social media goes nuts. Speculation, suspicion, rumour, that's all wholly unnecessary. Don't have Peter Lawwell, and you probably nip a lot of that in the bud, to be fair. But that being said, when you see your, you know, in many people's eyes, your number one striker, David, leaving for effectively, when you include his wages, his signing on fee, we broke even on Giakouamkis. I think we're quite right. You know, I think it's when you get these press conferences, they are an opportunity for a manager to engage with the supporters as well. And I think, you know, I would quite like to know if there's any truth in it. And I'm just not sure. You know, when I look at the reporting of Giakouamkis, not yesterday, the day before, Sky Sports, I think in their article yesterday, they were still in between quotes saying, Urawa Reds have had a bid accepted. So if they're reporting it matter of fact, at the very least they could, if not someone else, just calmly observe it. Well, it's been reported as fact it's been accepted. Or Sky Sports, I suppose, could have said, "Oh no, we've reported this with substance. You have accepted the bid for Giakouamkis, so that goes against what you're saying right now." And maybe someone just challenge him a wee bit on it, and we might get closer to what's going on. Because right now, I do feel he's giving the press a run around, which I'm all for. But the other side to me says, well, hear me out. You know, there's quite a lot of fans that would like clarity because, you know, at the end of the day, yes, you told us to get used to our heroes leaving and stuff, but now there's completely mixed bags of reports that one of our heroes is leaving, and you're saying the complete opposite. Where do we stand?
Yeah, because the I can't remember their names, but the two main guys that do the transfer talk on Sky Sports, like they're on all the time. They're like their two main Sky reporters. They sat there and they made the statement. It wasn't just like we're hearing for Scotland. That no, it was literally on that transfer news show that they do that a bid had been accepted by Celtic, and you know those two guys, they'll not report anything unless they're pretty concrete. Like they've had reliable sources. Like they're not going to put they've got quite good reputations. Those two guys, they're not going to put that on the line for just a wee rumour that they've heard about Giakouamkis at Celtic. So yeah, I think Ange seems to be he's the kind of guy that likes to keep his cards close to his chest. I think he's maybe been caught out a little bit here, and he's just trying to. He's trying not to. He's trying to no sell it. And he's trying to keep a poker face straight here, and be like, look, I'm not giving anything away to do. But yeah, but I think he's fully focused on trying to keep Celtic's news out of the media, that he maybe is neglecting the fact that we live in a knowledge world now. Like everyone can find a way of learning about something. A lot of people, especially big football fans, they've kind of got a grasp on how transfers kind of work now. Yes, nobody's really, unless you're in that business, really in the know. However, like I said, we're in a world where you could literally find out anything at the tip of your fingers. People will get a grasp on how these things kind of work. So we're not fools. Like if Sky Sports are reporting something that they're putting their reputation on the line, and we're not talking about just some wee guy on Twitter or like the Celtic Everything guy that's just that'll take stories from lots of different sources that aren't as credible. We're talking about Sky Sports here, and like you say, like double down on your reputation. You go, no, we've reported this as fact, mate. We've put this out there. And you're saying nothing. I'm like, no. You're not putting you stick up for yourself a little bit. I know Ange's probably put the fear factor in a lot of the Scottish press, and what makes me laugh is they'll still ask us the most ridiculous questions, but they're not willing to just say, well, listen, we've reported this as fact. I'm not having you make me look stupid here when I know for a fact that he's heading to Japan, or certainly you've had a bid from Japan, and you're saying he's no. So, yeah, but like I said, Ange's, and you said it as well, Ange maybe has a bit of duty of care to the fans to be like look, listen, we don't want you to tell us everything, but just, if a bid's been accepted, just say, look, I don't really want to talk about that. It's not really my remit. That we'll leave that to the board. But if something's happening, we've got it covered. I mean, he did kind of mention later on in the presser, we're in a position that if anybody does leave, we've got strategies to combat that. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to bring someone else in, though. That just means he might have a plan up his sleeve what to do with the squad he already has. So really, we're still no further forward, no matter what he said.
Yeah, well, that's it. And by the way, it's Ange's gift to say what he wants. I think the thing is that's very important is, though, you've got just challenge him if you've got have the courage of your convictions. If you put it to print, or you put it, I say print loosely, on your website. I mean, we can just say like, well, look, we don't think that's the case. We think you have accepted an offer for Giakouamkis. Don't tell me you don't know about it. What's your reaction to that? I mean, I just think you could be asked that, Regan. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm wrong in saying it's not been reported in Japan, though.
No, it has been reported in Japan, mate. A very credible Japanese newspaper, apparently. Well, not apparently, has printed it. And from as far as I'm aware, the Japanese press are a lot less about the gossip than we are over here. So unless their sources are totally wrong, or they've taken up some bad habits from our media, then they seem to be out there pretty confident that he's coming, or at least had a bid accepted from that club. I can't remember the name of the club, I'm afraid.
Because I've just not seen that. Is it Dan Ortiz, what do we call him? I've not seen him talk about it.
And
he's been banished, mate. He's been banished for talking shit.
I don't know if you've noticed. I think even like the Celtic fans have finally picked up the ball with that one, that he is a pain in the arse. I said that this time last summer. In fact, last summer 2020, I was like, oh, if I can't stick him.
There is another Japanese account came up though, Boycie. I don't know. I think he is an actual Japanese native, but he tweets a lot in Japanese. But I keep getting retweets of him. I remember he came up and saying, Awata will be sleeping just now, but get your followers, start following him so he wakes up with a big smile on his face when he wakes up. He seems to be the new guy that seems to be reporting a lot of the Celtic Japanese stuff. And he's, to be fair, regardless, like he's said anything either. I think he's taken the mantle of the talking shite for Japan for Dan.
Ian McIntosh comes in. I've got a wee bit of a take on this I'm going to put to you, right? Because I like what Ian's saying here. I think it's a good observation. He says, they're both decent players. How come there's no sensible offers? Are we asking for too much? Is it their age? Now, I've got my point on this, Regan. I don't know what you think, right? I think the lack of game time Giakouamkis has had, and to be honest, particularly this season, I think has driven down his value. I think he's been underused. Just my opinion. Doesn't matter. I'm not saying it's for gospel. It's just my opinion. I would have had him more minutes on the park by now. And I think that's driven his value down. I think Celtic fans and Celtic media sort of things have overinflated Juranovic's value. And what we're going to arrive at is a destination where Giakouamkis, probably you're not going to get what we all think he's worth, and Juranovic the same, but for two different reasons. I think Giakouamkis we could have got more for, and I think maybe some of the fees for Juranovic were dreamland. Do you know what I mean? And I think either way, we're going to be a bit underwhelmed with what we get for either or both if they were to leave this month.
Yeah, I mean, I had Peter Grant tell me 2 weeks ago that Juranovic was worth £20 million. We should be aiming for that. And I said to Peter, no way. I said 10, 12 million is the best you'll get. Because I just think that Brazil game, right? That Brazil game inflated Juranovic in the Celtic fans' mind. But overall, I don't think people actually thought that of him. I think that Tony Nelson's a better player. I've said that on you before. I think if Tony Nelson is Croatian, he would get in the Croatia squad. I just don't understand it, Russell. I mean, in terms of JJ, in terms of chaos, I think the big thing with him, right? I think the only reason he's got offers from Japan is because Ange Postecoglou is Celtic's director of football at the moment. Because that is who Ange goes to. Because for me, I think if Ange leaves, this whole Celtic recruitment goes to, I don't want to say goes to shit early in the morning, but I think it is. You know?
Well, I mean, I never even thought of it like that. I had never thought of it like that. I think I never thought of like maybe the link to a Japanese club is because Ange has been the de facto director of football. It's actually him who's maybe involved with that. I just don't know. I don't know with that. I do think you would have to also say there's been a bigger spotlight put on Celtic as a club from Japan when we're constantly going in for their players. And maybe, by the way, this is just a wee bit of karma that, you know, maybe our most natural finishers leaving for what we view as far undervalued money when really we've just took the J-League Player of the Year for $1 million. And I don't remember many of us feeling that sorry for Yokohama when we signed the VAT on the 1st of January, David. So maybe it just goes round in circles, and this is just a wee bit of payback for the old J-League.
Aye, maybe I did see. It was quite a funny tweet. I think was getting shared about. They were saying that if he does well in Japan, he might earn his move back to Celtic. that was quite funny. That's the best. That's what I love about Twitter. That kind of stuff just cracks me up. Those wee bits, but it's a weird situation. The whole thing's just weird. Like you say, like the valuation of Giakouamkis, I think it was a lot higher in our heads than perhaps in the rest of the footballing world. But
yes,
maybe that's saying a lot. Maybe that's saying more than meets the eye. Like, well, if we think he's worth that much as fans, then is it really worth selling him then? Like, we've got, as far as we're concerned, we've got at least a £5 million player sitting there, I think.
Yeah.
You know, maybe then should we really be letting him leave? But that's that whole. I just made it. I think I don't know if that was in the press or if it was getting quoted from a while back saying he doesn't want players that don't want to be here. But I'm still not fully convinced that Giakouamkis doesn't want to be at Celtic. Don't tell me that he wants to go and play for some of these clubs that have been he's been linked with it over Celtic, other than the weather, maybe.
Well, this is the other aspect, though. You need to be realistic here. Giakouamkis only started 11 Premier League games last year, even though he was top scorer 11. This year, I think he started 4. Like, if you've started 15 Premier League games out of a potential, 57, 58, take away his injuries, maybe about 45 games, 15 out of 40. That's a third of the games he'll start. Anyone who wants to play football, people talk about his age as a stick to beat him with his value. I would also look at his age and say, you're coming into your peak years. You want to be more active than that, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at Giakouamkis, Russell, I don't think Japan will appetise him to go there because he's scored goals in the Champions League. He doesn't want to go to Japan and downsize his play as a football player. This is no disrespect. This is no disrespect to Japan, but if Kyogo and Maeda are the best players in Japan and they're coming over to Scotland to play, I don't think a player like Giakouamkis is one to
Go the other way.
Is one to go the other way because you look at Celtic, right? Celtic have just signed the best player in Japan. So why would Giakouamkis say to himself, why would I go to a low level of football to go over there, even if I'm going to get say $2,000 or $3,000 more? It makes no sense to me.
But that's why I move away from the money argument. That is why I move away from the money argument. I don't think this is a completely money-orientated thing. You look at those stats he's made in the Premier League, David, and then you look at his goals, and of course that leads to frustration as well. You go, I've scored more games in the Premier League than I've started both seasons, and yet I can't get more game time than what I'm getting. That strikes me as being the main reason he wants to leave. He signed a 5-year deal only 18 months ago on the wages he's on. And to be honest, I just don't think he's struck me as the type of player who's going to be upsetting the apple cart. I mean, I've seen, as I've said before on here, the Pierre Van Hooijdonk comparisons and all that. I think it's just, that's, really, really leading yourself into a comfort blanket status where you just can't handle that maybe Giakouamkis and Ange have collided on what they think's, the right striker for Celtic, which is fine. Both have to back themselves. Both of them do. Otherwise, you get a light version of either of them. And if it's Ange's gift to go, I'm sorry, no matter what he does, he is nowhere near as good as my boy Kyogo. Ange has to back himself in that. He can't be, jeopardising his selection to keep a guy happy. On the flip side, Giakouamkis has to keep pounding his door and saying, how are you? This is getting beyond the joke. I want to play. I don't have any problem with either of those scenarios, if I'm being honest, albeit I might disagree with one. It's not because I'm actually taking issue with it as such. It's just you've got two guys, both backing themselves in their role. And the one thing I'm not going to go down is Giakouamkis being money grabbing and all that nonsense. I think that's too convenient a story to do around.
I think what has happened is I've got sorry. Gigi was pretty much the main man in Holland, and I can't remember the name of the team. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the team. It was that VV. Hi, then. He was the main man there. He got a taste of being the main man, the hero, the number one striker, the guy, the top goal scorer. He liked the taste of that, and that's he come to Celtic, and he's not. And I think he's craving that feeling of being the main guy, the number one guy, and I think that drives him more than maybe say money, as you say. If he was really driven by money, I think you'd be looking at some of these countries that can these much lesser leagues but have millions and millions to spend. I think you'd be looking at getting a move to one of their countries if that was the case. I just think he liked the taste of being the number one guy, and he's never tasted anything sweeter since, and he wants it back. And I think that's what's driving him, to be honest. You can tell he's frustrated on the pitch, but he's not scoring. He is a bit huffy, not huffy, but he always kicks himself when he's down, sort of kind of guy. So I think he's driven and motivated by goals, not cash. Let's be honest, man. If he asked for a better contract at Celtic, it wasn't a case of, listen, I'm too good for this league, I'm going elsewhere. He's going, listen, I'm doing really well in this league. I want to be the number one guy. Maybe I obviously want rewarded for that. And whether Celtic have decided, well, actually, nah, we think we could probably get someone with a better touch, but can still score more. But that's a gamble. I'm not sure it's worth taking. I don't understand the whole. Sorry, just quickly. With more game time, I get the whole Ange, Kyogo's your main guy, and I personally think I still prefer Kyogo starting over Gigi. But if I was the manager, and this is probably why I'm not the manager, it's not that big a drop off, if there is any at all, in Gigi and Kyogo. I don't understand this whole right. Well, Kyogo, you've not really done anything, or you've ran about for 70 minutes or even 60 minutes. Why can't you? Gigi coming up for 20 or 30? Is that a drop off? in standard of goal scorer.
No.
The stats don't say that they are. So I don't understand why I've just been so reluctant to give him 20 minutes rather than 10. You know?
Yep. I've got a little bit of insight, Russell, because I listened to
ITR.
I listened to a Scottish football podcast. Remember, Russell, about a month ago, me, you, and David went to G4 Claims.
Yes.
I remember it well.
So G4 Claims do a Scottish football podcast with Chris Toll and Stephen Purton. Now, G4 Claims got an invite to watch Celtic train.
Right.
With Chris Toll, and they said they went. They said they went last week, and Chris Toll basically said, he said, when I'm watching training, Giakouamkis doesn't fit in. He looks like he doesn't fit in with the players. Training. He also said that he tackled a player. I can't remember. He almost injured a player during training.
Right.
I can't remember. But he just basically said that he thinks that one of the reasons was from watching that training. He says he can just tell that Giakouamkis does not fit in to the players that they've got at Celtic.
Here's an interesting take on that, because that's very, very fascinating what you're saying there. I think if there's one thing this Celtic team lack, is just that attitude. I think we're a very nice team, and sometimes I think we're not gonna. If we're just going to be 11 technicians, brilliant technicians that are, let's be honest, we do utilise subs, 14, 15 technicians come the Champions League next year, for example. The 14 technicians we're up against, 9 times out of 10 are going to be better ones than ours. It's just a fact, right? That's not a criticism of what we've got. It's just a fact. Sometimes you need someone with that wee bit of dig, that bit of fight, someone who's going to be aggressive, someone who's going to rough you up the wrong way, someone who's going to bring a different dimension to the team, and with that being a different characteristic than the rest have. I've said many a times, I am not sure if you know, these sort of players with big characters is always what Ange is after either. I think he's sometimes more likely to go for the students of his philosophy and have players like that than ones who might do their own thing.
See, that's where I totally agree with you, Russell, because I would like a Paul Hartley or a Bayer Robson, but I don't think Ange is looking for that. I think Ange is looking for people that he can mould into a very, very technically sound player. I just don't think Ange is looking for a Barry Robson, a Paul Hartley, do you know what, that kind of player?
Well, that's, and again, he's got to have the team David sorted in his sort of mould. But anyway, we'll talk about a couple of players who we know are going to be in his mould, and that'll be Kobayashi and Ivata. Before I come to you, David Chunks is making a big request here, so if you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, or any of our other podcasts, and you can't see what's on the screen, I'll read it out. He is looking for 2 Cup final tickets for the League Cup final. It's his son's 16th birthday, it will be. He says, and he's never been to a game versus the Zombies. Money is no object. He says to get a massive donation. We're not bothered about that. But yeah, if anyone finds out of 2 tickets, we have got a legend like Chunks in my Trunks who is looking to purchase them off you. Get in touch with the bus if you know of 2 tickets and make his 16-year-old birthday one you will never forget. But exactly. David, yes, our 2 recent Japanese imports, I've not seen any of them yet. No rush on that one, of course. Think he would give them some game time tonight. I think you were asking the group chat yesterday about will one of them start. I'm not as sold on that. I think he'll stick with what we've got right now and ensure, you know, the 3 points look well on their way, if not done and dusted, before either get introduced. Not an ability thing, just part of the easing in process. Either way, though, I'm awfully excited to see one of the 2. I think we've now got a natural left-sided centre-half at the club for the first time under Postecoglou, which is a big plus. He's moved above Jens in the pecking order from what it looks like from the outside anyway already. And so he must have something about him. Whilst Jens, I don't think, has done all that much wrong. I think if Kobayashi is now above him, happy days. That means he's obviously an improvement on what we have, which I'm always advocating. And then when you've got Ivata, you've got someone who comes in and is the latest number 6. I know he can play a variety of positions, but it looks anyway, and again, time will tell, but it looks like if he plays midfield, he's more more likely to play that holding midfield role. We've had a few misses in that position. This guy comes as the J-League Player of the Year. I'm looking forward to seeing both what they can do in the second half of the season. Will it start tonight?
Yeah, I was asking that in the chat yesterday. I've got a feeling we might see one. If I kind of want to really see this Avata play. I'm really excited. Out of the two of them, I'm really excited about him. He looks like he might have that little bit of bite about him that we were just talking about. He says his most favourite part of playing the game is the one-on-one duels and the tackle, and stealing the ball from his opponent. So he obviously likes going in for a tackle. So he may be the bite that we're needed, and he fits the mould that Ange is after. Then he might hit two birds with one stone there. So yeah, I mean, it's funny because this time last year, Dyson came in and obviously Hatate came in and they went straight into the squad right after the end of a Japanese season. So for me, I don't think there's any real reason why there shouldn't be any fitness reason why I wouldn't be able to at least, be knocking on the manager's door and going stick me in the squad at least. Whether obviously he plays a position which is very well utilised by our captain, and so you're either relying on Ange giving McGregor a rest for tonight, or you shuffle the pack a little bit. I mean, who's it? St Mirren at home tonight, isn't it? So I don't see why you couldn't at least start one of them. Or at least certainly if the game gets put to bed early enough, which I'm not saying it will, because I know obviously St Mirren were the last team to beat us, and obviously to stop our unbeaten run. So obviously you've got to respect that a little bit. Well, you've got to respect that a lot. But I still feel there's room to at least shuffle the pack a little bit and allow maybe one of the new boys bled into the team.
Regan, for all the recent I don't even call it so much negativity around the January window. I think there's been a lot of confusion in the last 7 days. Let's get it right. This window started with a bang for Celtic, okay? Funnily, Celtic are obviously going to be very aggressive in the transfer market when it's 1 million, 2 million buys. Different debate, though. That's just me being cynical, Regan. Just me being cynical in old age. I mean, the one thing we've had to say is the window started with a bang, but it does show the squad's progress from this time last January, where Maeda and Hatate came straight in. I think it was Maeda's debut the 17th of January, so just around this time, and they were needed, Regan, to impact our first team. We needed those guys between now and the end of the season. I don't think we're in that position with Avata, who's obviously probably looking more likely the one who'd be more first team ready than Kobayashi. But either way, I think both of them will be eased in at a slower pace than what we've seen, because Maeda and Hatate were essential in us winning that league in the end. I don't think these two guys, albeit they might come in and have stormers and make it hard to drop them when they do eventually get their chance, but we're not under the same pressure, Regan, to start them both or get them both match involvements that we were this time last year with our two of our Japanese recruits.
No, I think it's a great point you make, Russell, because I think Maeda was brought on for the Rangers game when he just got off a flight for Japan as well. Staffel was brought off the flight from Sweden, and so was Kyogo for Tynecastle as well. So, and you look at our January recruit for last year, even Matt O'Reilly, who we brought in January, Matt O'Reilly can't even get a first team start now. So it shows you that the squad's evolving and everything's going well. In terms of the question you asked David about when I start players tonight, I think Ange will bring on Owata after like 70 minutes, maybe when the game showed up, because I watched St Mirren on Friday and they played very well against Hearts. So I don't think Stephen Robinson will be scared of Celtic. Obviously, he knows that Celtic will dominate the ball, but Celtic dominated the ball at the St Mirren Park. So I think he'll know that if he can get a goal, then he can just sit back. So I don't think Ange will take himself too serious and put big pressure on. But I think it's also a big advantage to be playing the Scottish we played the Scottish Cup on Saturday. Because of what and Kobayashi, I would expect to start that game because Morton are on a championship side, Russell. So I'd probably expect they two to play in that game because it's
so bleed them in tonight, get them some minutes in their legs, and then maybe have more of a role at the weekend.
Yep, but I just hope it's not the same as Marvin Compere because I remember he came on like
Martin. That's right.
Because
Some legend.
Aye, because he came on during the weekend and he played against Morton. He played against Morton and then we never seen him again. He was just there for cup.
That's right.
He was just there for cup finals with a suit on and all that. Remember?
That's right. I forgot about that, man. I forgot about that. That would been probably the last time we played Morton. It was 60 minutes for the £1 million centre half Marvin Compere, 20 grand a week, never to be seen again. I just think that side of it will be very interesting. We look ahead to tonight as well. 3 points is all that matters, David, of course. Celtic form-wise, have we been at our best since the World Cup? I think individuals have improved. I've not seen us blow away a team yet. Could tonight be that night?
But it's certainly due one, I think. You know, like the last home game, we hit the post about 7 or 8 times in the space of 30 seconds. So I'd like to, hopefully we've got our shooting boots on tonight and we can get some goals. But I mean, St Mirren, like you said, like Regan said, we'll dominate the ball, and so there was certainly a lot more space for us to do that. Obviously at home, so I'd like to think we could blow them away tonight. But yeah, I'm gonna go with a 4 goals, 4-0. We'll go 4-0 for me.
4 goals, and that'll be it. I mean, that'll just calm everyone down again because Twitter's been getting lively, Regan. Right now because there was a brilliant tweet put up by Paul McQueen. I think a good result tonight can put a lot of it to bed. But Paul McQueen tweeted yesterday saying, this is why Lawwell shouldn't have been brought back because, and he wasn't saying anything about Lawwell being involved in transfer deals or contract talks falling apart or low ball offers being accepted. He wasn't saying that. What he said was it's left everything wide open to that scrutiny. And you only need to have a look at the socials right now, and there's a divided sort of fan base on that issue. I don't mean a divided fan base overall. That's just dramatic nonsense. But on the thing of Lawwell, some are just right back. Oh, F off, mate. He's done nothing. He's in a different role. And then others are saying, totally, man. You can see there's a big complete change. There's a sea change in the approach since Lawwell started in the 1st of January. The 3 signings that came in, they were all done before he was in situ. Then others are saying he's never left. He's always been here. It's a sideshow that's not going to go away now, though, is it? And I think the only way to keep it at its lowest flickering embers, the Lawwell sideshow, is going to be results on the park starting tonight. And that's what that tends to win the fan base round again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the opinion that he actually never left, Russell, but yeah, I do agree with you that it's important that he gets off in the best footing tonight because it's important that everything just tones itself down, like you said, and Celtic just start winning, and people can just be distracted by that. And hopefully, that takes care of itself. But I want to mention something you mentioned on PMP, Russell, and that was the fact that why are we settling for if Giakouamkis goes, we should get somebody in? Surely we should be looking at 3 strikers. I mean, I know Rangers are a poor team. They're not very good, but they've got if everybody's fit, they've got 3 or 4 strikers. You know what I mean? They're technically their 4th striker got injured he scored the winning goal, but he got injured in the semi-final. So why are we all of a sudden just like, we should just accept to have a poor, like, a second choice and that's it? Like, I said this to Peter Grant there about a month ago, and he was like,
"Well, he's your second best pal."
And he was like, "At Celtic, it's very hard to keep people happy." And I was like, "Well, that's what competition's about. That's what I spoke about yesterday for people that listened to the press conference. That's what I said. He said Nobody is guaranteed first team football. You have to be pushed, and that's what we've been seeing on the bus for about a year and a half, Russell.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned it to David last Sunday, but I know Secrets has not been involved in the last 4 or 5 matchday squads. I hope he's alright.
He's got to be carrying a knock. He's got to be
I think
carrying
he's
some
injured, yeah.
sort of knock. But we'll do one point at a time, because obviously I think the 3 strikers. I mean, I'm a big advocate of that. I mean, 100%. David Ferguson says, have we needed 3 strikers up till now? Champions League. I'll keep reiterating it. That's what I wanted
Definitely.
competing, and that proves we needed 3 strikers, in my opinion. That was
Why would you not want
essential.
3?
We
Why would
had
you not
David.
want 3?
See even Robbie Nielsen at Hearts, he's got 3 strikers. He's got Liam Boyce, Shankland, and Stephen Humphries. So why
we've got the other situation, Regan, where obviously we were talking about the press conference. And Ange had said, look, if there's no further incomes and outgoings, I'll be happy, but there's room for one more. Let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Like, if part of the process or part of the plan for January was to wind up David with 3 right backs and 1 striker, if Giakouamkis were to leave, who's pulling who's plonker? Because there's just no way that would have been part of the process, part of the plan, part of the strategy. No, it wasn't, right? And again, it blows up the argument of, have we needed 3 strikers still now? Do we need 3 right backs? I mean, I just think that's so you blow that argument up in seconds.
The 3 year, have we needed 3 strikers up till now? Is that, are we putting that back right to when Ange walked in the door? Because I remember quite clearly there was a period where we had no Kyogo and no Giakouamkis, and we were is it going to be Abada? Abada's going to have to play up front. I mean, at one point we had Tom Rogic playing as a striker. So, up till now we've needed 3 strikers, because believe it or not, there is opportunity for both strikers to get injured at some. You can't look into the future, obviously, but you can't rule out the possibility that we've just had a bug just go right through the squad and take out Jota and a few other guys for a couple of weeks. We were just fortunate enough that Kyogo and Giakouamkis both didn't have it as well. So, and then we would have been stuck with playing Abada maybe through the middle, or Maeda through the middle, who's going through a really good spit of form just now. But I still think he's better out on the left than he is through the middle. His finishing's obviously been better lately with a bit of confidence, but he does most of his damage closing down right backs and stealing the ball and then getting a ball across the face of goal for someone to tap it in. So I think we do need 3 strikers up to now. We were screaming to ask the question about Jordan Larsson. There was no reason why not to. Apparently his agent was keen for the question to be asked. So, and we didn't do it. And now we're talking about a possibility that we're going to go down to 1 striker. Never mind 3 strikers. So I think we need to be looking to be striking in that area, whether Giakouamkis stays or goes, as far as I'm concerned.
In every other area. I don't know what the fear is of having. Usually, if my memory serves me right, Regan, usually a lot of squads you see more competition in the striking area than other positions. Yet we're all very relaxed. We've got 2 World Cup right backs, and Tony Ralston got a 4-year deal last summer. That's normal, but having 1 striker at the end of the window would be normal. Give me space. It doesn't add up.
No, I think we've got about 7 centre. I think we've got about 7 centre backs now as well. And I mean, I know Patrick McLaughlin's saying made as a first striker, but come on. I mean, until last week, the guy couldn't finish his dinner. So
he has improved in that department, though, hasn't
he? He's improved. I did see another programme said that Maeda has been the best player in Scotland this season. Did you see that?
That was me, Deegan. That was me. Sending it to Mark.
It was a certain Ruffy. A certain Ruffy said that Maeda's been the best player, the most informed player in Scotland this season. So, but
go on.
See, as well as I do agree with that, I still do agree that we do need strikers, because I'm not going to go back to Manchester United, but look at Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex Ferguson always brought in 4 strikers because he knew that if he wanted to win titles and win trophies, every single season, and he didn't want to burn out his players, then that was key to bring in 4 strikers. Like, I mean, I think it was John Hartson said a few weeks ago, see if he didn't have Chris Sutton and Larson there to be there with him. That's what competition is all about, Russell. You want people there. They're challenging. You don't go, oh, there's 2 people in front of me. I'm scared in case I don't get a game. That's not the way it should be a big club.
I totally agree with that. I think there's a fear amongst the fans that they all know deep down Kyogo's his boy, right? They know he's number 1.
Yep.
And they think that if you put in 3 strikers in there, well, they're not going to get a game and it's not fair. And it's like, well, that's kind of accepting a bit of stubbornness there. And in my opinion, healthy competition means fair competition. And whoever's in form, whoever's on song and needs to come in, can come in. And I think people don't want to accept that maybe what we've seen with 2 strikers so far hasn't been fair competition. I'll go back to what I said at the top of the show. That's Ange's absolute right to do that, and he can pick whoever he wants. But if you're saying he would be inadvertently saying like we'd be incapable of operating with 3 strikers on the books, and I'm not including Maida because originally Maida wasn't being included in the comments because they were saying we've not needed 3 strikers up to now. Now Maida's said he's a striker, so we've got to make up our mind here whether we've already got 3 strikers there or not. Because
only a month ago we were questioning why is Maida going ahead of Kyogo. Maida's no use as a striker, you know. And I'm Maida's biggest advocate, by the way. But I much prefer him out on the left or out on the right.
Yeah, me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he does most of his damage.
It's not broke right now. Don't fix it because it's just going to put more of a light on him in the second half of the season, whether to be an injury. And Maida's playing up top, and say he does have a few of those, I don't even know how to describe, comical misses, you know, not through a lack of endeavour, but just, and then suddenly that pressure ramps up on him and his form could fall. I think right now he is very much key to what we're doing right now, David, but also very much key, very much in that left wing role.
Oh, yeah, you can't. Maida's like a bag of the Revels where you go in, you don't care what bit of chocolate you're going to get out. It's going to be either a peanut or it's going to be caramel. You don't know. You get a surprise and it's orange. You just don't know what you're getting, Mum. This comment you made there about you think fans are, like Kyogo's his boy. You know, it's how they're going to manage to get in that. That's not the fans. That sounds like a striker's problem. That's not a fans' problem. We should, as fans.
Yep.
Every time the transfer window opens, even if we don't need one, I'm like, I want another striker because who doesn't love a striker? Like that's for the striker that gets brought in's issue to deal with about either forcing Ange's hand to drop Kyogo for him or finding a way to play them both. That's the striker's problem, not our problem. We should just be looking to always improve the side. Kyogo will eventually at some point dip in form again. Yes, he's still banging the goals whether he's in form or not. But you also remember Kyogo's no like he's not like a 22, 23-year-old striker either. He's 27-year-old as well. We can't be always relying on a 27, 28, 29-year-old. Eventually somebody's going to have to come in and displace him.
David, that's a good. David, that's a great point you make because I know people don't want to mention it, but Kyogo in the Champions League missed a lot of chances. We could have won a lot of games. And I think if you're looking at the Champions League for next season, Celtic need to upgrade on Kyogo for me.
Aye. Well, there's that argument to it. But listen, this is the thing. It's not about just upgrading Kyogo. Every position before a Champions League campaign, year on year, every single squad that enters into the Champions League, for the top right to the seeded 32 team in that competition, feels that the squad has to be enhanced to compete with what next season's Champions League brings. There isn't one out there that does not do that, or doesn't or at least attempt to do that. So every position, as far as I'm concerned, has to be looked at ahead of a Champions League campaign.
I would come back to you though, Russell, because we near Beaton playing it centre back for 10 Champions League campaigns or something. So
but we were the exception to the rule. You're right. You're right. You've got me there by the bollocks, Regan. You're absolutely spot on. But that, and we know how that ended. You know, it ended with 3 qualifications out of 9. Do you know what I mean? 3 qualifications out of 9. But in general, Anyone that wants to be at that competition, and I'm not saying we're going to sign 11 new players. What I mean is, if you have a player available to you in the market that can improve on what you've got in any given position, that is what the big clubs looked at. In fact, all the Champions League clubs look to do. It's certainly not a thing as just Kyogo needs improved on for the Champions League. I think
No.
I think we've got to be agile, as Ange says, and look at all these Champions League campaigns. If hopefully, be many more to come under Postecoglou. But ahead of each one, looking at any position, if we think there's a player available at a fee we can afford that improves what we've got, that's the cutthroat business that we're in.
Okay then, guys, I'll put this question to you then. So we spoke on the bus last week about does Ange like Scottish football? Well, the Scottish mainstream media were saying yesterday that Celtic like the look of Nisbet that plays for Lee Johnson. Would you guys take him at Celtic?
No, not for me. Not for me. I think Kevin Nisbet is a very good goal scorer. He's proven that in championship level, and he's been doing the business for Hibs. I just don't think it's a massive improvement. I don't think that's the guy that displaces a Kyogo. Like, I'm really quick to go back to saying, like, yes, should we always be looking to improve on Kyogo? Yes, that doesn't necessarily mean that we want him not to be playing, by the way, because quickly wanted to ask you guys, the Kyogo of last season when he couldn't miss, if we were in the Champions League campaign was then, would you have been more confident that we'd have put would you be more confident that we'd have put the ball away against the Madrid, against the Christ, all the players, all the teams that were up against in the group stages this season? I that was my biggest issue. I was watching Kyogo miss a chance, going, he'd have scored that last year, and now I feel like we might be getting to the point where Kyogo's, because he was filled with confidence, by the way. I think even that wee documentary that was released yesterday kind of alluded to the fact that Kyogo just couldn't miss in Japan either. He was absolutely storming it over there, and he just hit the ground running, continued the form that he was on last season. And I almost feel like the Champions League came a little bit late for him after this dip in form. But now I'm starting to wonder, well, if we get that Kyogo back for next season, will we see the improvement this time round? I don't think Kevin Nisbet's quite at that level to be. I know he's improving at Champions League level, obviously, but most of these goals have come in Championship level. Wraith Rovers and Dunfermline, he didn't stick around at either of those clubs long enough to see if it was just a case of that he's too good for that, too good for the Championship, but no quite Celtic level.
Could he be a third choice striker?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. I just don't think he'd be the guy that would displace Kyogo or even Giakouamkis.
I think if you've got a Kyogo and another pushing for the number one jersey, and you've got a Nisbet to come in there and help with nights like tonight at home to St Mirren, right, where we've got 3 games in a row, a cup semi-final we've just played, we've got a league game, and then we've got a home game against Morton. I think then there could be a case for Nisbet to get minutes in that. I do, and I think he would also be more than capable of scoring these sort of fixtures. Step up the Champions League would be another debate altogether. And again, it's a mixed one. Is it lazy journalism? Player on form in Scotland, linked to Celtic. It's a tried and trusted formula that's going to get a lot of clicks. Do you know what I mean? But I don't see anything wrong with having a third choice striker that's going to score goals. The problem we're going to get to, though, is if we're haggling for £3 million for a guy who's just scored 2 at a World Cup, are we going to spend just an outright £3-4 million on an SPFL third choice striker? I can't say that, Regan, either.
No, I know Terry was saying the other night that Shankland's worth 500 grand, but I mean,
there's no go there, mate.
I think
I don't give a week wages for that, Regan.
I mean, would you guys say that Nisbet's worth a few million quid then?
I'd say Hibs would. I would say Hibs would.
He's certainly more than 500k, that's for sure. I think he's a better striker than Shankland, by the way. But I think Hibs right away, it's that old Celtic tax. You're buying from their, let's face it, like their competitors. They're not going to give them away to Celtic for less than, I'd say, I think you're looking at 3 million. And then, like you say, is that Are you willing to pay that for a third choice striker? If that would be the role that he would be given at Celtic, of course.
And then, and then if you look at Nisbet's point of view, he's trying to get in the Scotland squad. He can't get in at the minute.
I disagree with that comment down there, because I think Shifty is a perfect example, because he was banging the goals at Dundee United and he couldn't hit a barn door at Celtic. So I don't think that I don't subscribe to that comment. I don't fully disagree. I'm not too.
You would
sure
think that the chances are higher if you can score goals in the league that you would make the step up to scoring goals in the same league with a better team. I get that aspect, but yeah, of course, the Chifty example. But for every Chifty, there's a McDonald, you know.
Very true. Very true.
And true. I suppose you would think that they could, but I know what you mean. You've seen that movie before in the other light as well, so I do get it. There's two sides, and you can tell by the comments coming in that it is one that does definitely split the supporters. Right, Regan, we've got 2 minutes to go, mate. Hit me with your predictions for tonight, and who's scoring the goals as well for Celtic?
Celtic 5, St Mirren 0.
I love it. Who needs these strikers again? You're just blowing up the boat. Absolute to smithereens.
Might hit a hat trick incoming. Every time.
I'll say Maeda will score 2, Jota will score 1. I'll go for a wee Carol Starfield will score 1, and the last goal I'll say Giakouamkis will get his final farewell. 5-0.
David, you said something about 4 goal differences earlier.
4-0. Stick with that.
4-0.
I'll stick with 4-0. Might hit a hat trick incoming.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be 2-0 tonight. To be honest, I don't think it'll be as many as that, and we can keep the cool go to miss 5 sitters, so Twitter can go mental about Giakouamkis for another couple of days. Why not stir that pot? We will be back tonight though for some PMP. It will not be 2 hours. It will not be 3 hours. It will be half an hour to an hour tonight with Terry. We've got him on the overtime this week, so we'll need to do that. That will do us for today, though. It's been a brilliant breakfast bar. Regan Stevens, you enjoyed yourself on your breakfast bar debut.
Aye, mate, it was good to be on. Thank you for having me on, mate. I'll be back again if you'll have me on in a Wednesday morning.
Oh, I would love to have you on, mate. You're welcome on any breakfast bar, mate. Just you let me know when you're free. We do this every Wednesday morning at 8:30. So if you've got the availability on a Wednesday morning, we'll be more than happy to have you on. David, a pleasure as ever. You'll be back going through the papers, stirring the pot this Sunday blether, I presume?
Oh, I hope so, mate. I'm going to get the big wooden spoon out and really stir it this week, hopefully.
Oh, it was a brilliant show on Sunday, by the way. Brilliant. I don't know if you've seen the numbers, but it's done way over 1.4 thousand or something. So well done to you, mate. A great format. And as I've said before, it's so surreal at times. You need to like pinch yourself, and it's like you turn on like the telly, YouTube notification, the Sunday Blether's about to start, and you're like, that's like not my channel, it's our channel, right? But it's like it's your name on it, and then it's like you're just watching 4 folk who are just doing it on that platform like for you, and it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it on Sunday. So keep up the good work there. What were you going to say, Regan? You having the final word, mate?
No, I'm just going to say I'm looking forward to Sunday to see what David's got ready for me. Looking forward to it.
We'll see what happens. I usually just quickly spin it all together at 6 in the morning and we'll get ready to go after watching post-match pitch.
Anyway,
bring Sunday on.
We're out of here. And what else to make you feel even chirpier on a Wednesday morning than the banter of Chris Sutton? See you.
Well, you've all that stuff at the start. You know, they won't be playing Tina Turner on the coach on the way home, will they?
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I'm like in the media now. And you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan. He's a Rangers puppet. He's a cheerleader. That's what he is.